we're going to talk about the foundation. We cannot keep complaining about people we allow in our lives when our foundations have not been built, because some of us just don't know like how important it is yet. There have been times, I'm sure, where you cut somebody off and it felt better. You felt lighter because they were effing up the foundation the whole time. Let go. Welcome to Edified Minds. My name is Kennedy Edwards, and I help women overcome issues with self-love, accountability, and relationships. If you're already part of the Edified Tribe, thank you guys so much for tuning in yet again. I cannot thank you enough. This relationship series has been very, very eye-opening for your girl. And I think that a lot of you guys can also say that this relationship is needed to bring in 2024. Last episode was a success. And my girl Anita was very cutthroat. She was very to the point. Honey, we are not giving away free sex this year. And I love how she stood on that. So today I was supposed to have a episode with a guest, and it didn't go through, unfortunately, but God put something on my heart. And I asked God, I was like, Lord, what should I talk about today? Because I had a complete brain fog. Like I was like super thrown off. I already had my heart and my mind set on talking to this guest. And he was like, you know what, Kennedy, I got a message for you. We're going to talk about the foundation. The foundation. So before I get into the foundation, I just want to tell you how my week has been, because your girl has been fasting and I'm a whole foodie out here. So I have really been struggling. I have been weak. And a lot of you guys, if you go to church, your corporate bodies right now are doing corporate fast. And either you're fasting for 21 days. Mine is doing 24 days. My mama's is doing 40 days. And I'm like, that's a lot of days. I don't know if I would want to do that many days. I've fasted for 30 days before. So, I mean, it's really like nothing for me, but I could do it, but I wouldn't want to do 40 days. Anyways, though, I've been doing this fast and I've gotten through the first week. So God has put on my heart to not do certain things, to not eat certain things. And I've been making sure that I stick to it so that I don't, get thrown off of my fast. I suggest fasting because it is a spiritual guard. It really does discipline you. It also, in my opinion, makes you feel good when you're done and makes you prove yourself wrong in certain areas. Like if you're addicted to coffee, you can prove yourself wrong and go, no, I actually can say no to coffee, but it's just a choice. I've been choosing to drink all this coffee. So yeah, I don't have to do it. It's not a need. I don't put it before God, but I can totally have self-control. So fasting has a lot of different benefits. And for me, I just feel really accomplished when I'm done. So I'm 1 week in, maybe like the 4th or 5th day was when I started to feel very weak, because I tried to actually go without complete food, but I was like, this is crazy. I mean, I don't know if I can just go completely without food. What I can do though, is if I do break and I eat, then I'll stick with a Daniel fast. So I've just been getting a lot of different messages, a lot of different signs, a lot of different confirmations. And this week has been eye-opening. So I just want to let you ladies know, if you're doing the fast, kudos to you. I'm proud of you. I believe in you. You can do it. You can accomplish this, all right? But don't give in to little temptations. Stay off Instagram. The dumbest thing that I did the other night was look at a Pinterest board of food. So don't do that. Don't be like me. And I'm convinced at this point that if you don't eat, the reason why people say that you have encounters with God is because you're hallucinating. So eat a little bit of something or drink a little bit of water. Don't get too crazy like I tried, because I don't want you guys passing out on me while you're listening to this podcast. Now, bringing it back to the foundation. God highlighted this word to me because I have a huge list of notes of podcast topics. And if I'm being honest, I was going to talk about the importance of singlehood today with my guest, but he was like, nah, we ain't going to talk about that, because we could talk about that anytime. The foundation is key. And after we had Anita on talking all that talk, I felt like I should follow up with what she said with some confirmation that, hey, foundation, that's what I believe is starting off a lot of our relationships. So I want to tie it into that. A foundation can really apply to anything though. Like I'm sure you guys are thinking of different things when you think of the word foundation, But for some reason, what came to mind for me was my hair. Like, if you a sister, you already know our hair is our crown. Like, that is very important to us. And when I was younger, I remember getting trims and boohoo crying. I did not like getting trims, and that was very traumatic for me. If you ask my mom, she'll tell you, oh, yeah, she was so dramatic. You would think she was dying, but like low key, I was. And I hated getting a trim. So I asked my hairstylist one time, why are you doing this? Why are you cutting my hair off when it looks so long? And she showed me a picture. She's like, Kennedy, look at your ends. Your ends are so broken. Your ends are so jagged that if you continue to let it grow, all your ends are going to do is end up coming right up the shaft. And then you're going to be bald headed. Then you're really going to be crying. So she had to cut off the ends. And I think a lot of us, when we think of hair, think that the roots are the foundation, because that's what is allowing the hair to grow out of it. Our hair grows out of our scalp, right? Like literally. But I'm kind of starting to believe that the foundation of our hair are our ends. If you don't cut off the ends of your hair, it could negatively affect the rest of your hair. So if I had a choice, I would work on my ends. And that was one way I thought of a foundation, like in a literal term. Another literal term that I thought of when I thought of foundation was makeup. Freshman year, I knew that I wanted to start wearing makeup because so many girls around me were looking grown and I felt like I was still looking childish. So me and an old friend, we sat down, pen and paper, and we literally studied how to do makeup. We watched YouTube video after YouTube video, and we studied the best way to do a makeup routine. What stood out to me when I compared videos was the girl's foundation. Was it cheap? Was it too expensive? Did they just wipe it and smear it on? Was their skin dirty before? Like, how did they start off their canvas and then build from there? And so when I think of foundation, like those were simply the two things that came to mind when God put that word on my mind. But of course, I want to put some facts in there. So let me tell you what the actual definitions are for foundation. The first one is that it's an underlying basis or principle. And the second one is it's the lowest load-bearing part of a building, typically below ground level. So AKA the blueprint, right? And when you think of anything, a building, a relationship in this case, what's important is what's below the surface, what literally is the very, very beginning of it. How many of you have thought about the foundation? If you haven't thought about the foundation, that's okay, because like I said, the word just came to me. But now that I have more wisdom, I would rush to thinking that a foundation is what you say between you and that person. Like a foundation of a relationship or a friendship is, how do we meet? Was it good energy? Was I attracted to you? Did we have something in common? But like I said, with more wisdom, I realized that foundation really starts from within. The foundation you set for yourself, that is what you can determine will be built off of that. And it can be used in even another sense like work. How many of y'all had a job that y'all hated and you stayed there? Why do we do that? I wonder if it's because some of us know we're going to come in and do half the work. So it is what it is. We don't feel like looking for another job because we really know that we're not qualified for another job, or we really just don't trust our ability in the job. So now you coming into the workplace and you wonder why somebody doesn't value you. You wonder why you're not going to get no raise. You're not going to get a promotion. It's because the foundation of how you feel about yourself was how it began. It began before you even got hired. It was your mindset. So most people think that in terms of relationships, it's between you and that person, but no, it's not. It's all about you. The most annoying part about this can be that we're always told like that we should love ourselves. And a question that I've asked so many times is how? Like as I'm going through therapy right now, my girl Keisha keeps just dropping all these gems on me. And I'm like, Keisha, how do I do this? You're telling me that I should do this and do that, but how? You know what I mean? Like, how do I build a foundation? So I started thinking about over the years how my foundation was and how crooked it was and how it was easy to get lost in the sauce because I had no understanding of what I required and what I wanted of myself. Ladies, I really encourage you to just for a second, think about the word foundation. Just for a second, think about how you want your foundation to be built. And while you're doing that, go ahead and either subscribe on YouTube because we're filming right now, or send this to a friend or a family member who you think needs to perfect their foundation. I started thinking about the foundations that I've been building over the past, 2 years since I got rebaptized, because I'll be quite honest, your girl has changed completely ever since she went back under that water. And there are 3 things that I built my foundation on that I want to just kind of touch on. First thing is trust. Trust. I care about trust. I care about loyalty, and I got to trust you, whether we're friends or more than friends. And I had to ask myself, do I trust myself? Because there have been so many situations where I have double backed on my opinion. I've double backed on a decision because I didn't trust it. When I think of women, we can go back to Anita's conversation and talk about intuition, but I didn't trust it. And I didn't know why. I didn't know why I didn't trust myself. But I realized, how could I trust other people? I've been backstabbed since I was in the 5th grade. So your girl's been scarred. I've been scarred about backstabbing. But when I thought about trusting myself, I thought about different situations where I knew what was right for me and I knew what didn't feel good, but I did not go forward with it because I thought, I may be wrong. How can I be wrong about my own life? That's deep. How can you be wrong about how you feel? How can you be wrong about what you don't like? It gets deep. Trust is my foundation. I have to trust myself. And of course, that's come with time, trusting my ability, walking in my authority. But I realized that it was so hard for me to trust others, or it was easy to let others manipulate me and for me to forgive people that I couldn't trust because I didn't trust myself. But it kept wrecking up the foundation. It literally kept wrecking things. And now my thing is this: if I can't trust you, if I have tried and tried and tried and tried, and that's another problem, giving people second chances, I can't do it anymore. I just can't, because my foundation is built off trust. I told a previous partner, look, the day that I can't trust you is the day that we just need to cut ties. Because I've tried to stay with someone that I can't trust, and I felt like I was driving myself insane. Never again. If I can't trust you, then we just can't work out. And I don't need to keep having to go through 2, 3, 4, 5 things with you in order to know that you're not a trustworthy person. Because that's one of my values. And I know that I'm a trustworthy person. You can trust me. I should be able to trust you. Another thing is honesty. When I was younger, my mom would literally get mad when I would lie. And I remember one time I brought home so many bad grades at once. I don't know what happened. Your girl was smart. I was an AB honor student, by the way. I was very prestige. But I brought home some bad grades and I knew I was going to get in trouble. So I ripped them up. I put it in a little pocketbook thing and I just hid it away. Girls, one day my dad found it. I don't know how he found it. That was God. I promise you that was God. But he found it and he started putting it together, piecing the pieces together. And I'm just sitting here I already know. I already know I'm going to get in trouble. Something's going to happen, But my mom, when she found out, told me straight up like a G, I hate a liar. I can't stand a liar. And I felt like, whoa, this is my mom bucking up at me for one. But for two, she made it very clear that honesty was the only policy in her home. And of course, as we're kids, we lie because we fear consequences, or we lie to keep from hurting people's feelings. But that is now the foundation that I've been building over these past few years. It's honesty. And I've had to be honest with myself. Kennedy, you tell little white lies. You got to stop lying. You know what I mean? Kennedy, you can be mean sometimes. You overtalk sometimes. You are so blunt to the point where you're just rude. I've had to literally hold myself accountable. And my question to you guys is, how honest are you with yourself? How honest are you really? Are you constantly looking at your life from a clouded lens, or are you 100% real with yourself? Because that's the foundation, being honest with self. So now, once again, I can't be friends with you, sis, if you lie to your partner. I can't be friends with you if you're cheating on your spouse and all that stuff. You're lying all the time, I can't trust you, because I know that if you lie to them, you'll lie to me. And I tell the truth. I tell the truth to myself, and I tell the truth to others. So that's just really big. That's just one of my things I can't back down on. Once again, in a relationship, especially ladies, people love telling us just to stick things out. Oh, well, he cheated on her and she forgave him. And they're now married for 35 years with 3 beautiful children. F that. I guarantee that somewhere in their hearts, there's anger, there's resentment, there's regret, and I'm not trying to live that way. So my thing is this, if you're not honest, you got to go, and it don't take me 2-3 times to figure that out. My thing is this, I just judge you off your character. I'm not being a judgmental person, but I know that if I'm an honest person, I deserve other people around me in my circle to be honest. And lastly is reliability, not dependency, reliability. There's a difference. I am a reliable person. And I haven't always been that way. I mean, I think I've lost so many friends, college and back then, high school, all that stuff, based off not being reliable. Saying I could do something and not coming through. Like I remember literally in the 6th grade. And y'all, I go back and I reminisce and I reflect a lot. But I think that's actually what's made me a better person today. I think about things like this. It's very weird, but I like it. 6th grade, I had a friend who wanted to do a chorus performance with me, and we were going to go audition. I completely forgot about this friend. I guess I'd committed to go pick her up, have my mom pick her up, and I forgot. Next thing you know, I got the part. It was like a High School Musical play, and she was super pissed with me. I completely forgot my commitment, and I was not reliable. Understandably, now that I look back at it, I realized why she would be upset with me and not want to be my friend at that time. But of course, back then, I didn't see it that way. I wasn't honest with myself. I was like, what is she talking about? She's a dum-dum. So when it comes to reliability, I've learned how important that is in any relationship. And especially, in my opinion, in the workplace, being reliable and friendships being reliable. I mean, when you take on duties, you have to be reliable. If you're a mother, being reliable to your children, okay, it's not all about you at that point. Reliability is a part of my foundation. And I don't believe that time is money all the time. I believe that time is valuable. Your time is valuable. So I tell my friends straight up, look, once I put something in my handy dandy calendar, Kennedy's going to come through unless something drastic has happened. And my friends know that what I require of them is to value my time. If I have asked you to meet me at brunch at this time and you keep coming late, we're going to have a conversation. And some of my close friends know this. We've had conversations where I go, look, if I can't rely on you, this friendship isn't going to work. It's just not. Because if you call on Kennedy and say, Kennedy, I need you to come get me. I need for you to pick me up from the airport. I would like this. I would like that. If I have the ability to come through for you, I'm coming through. I'm reliable. Same thing in my relationships. It just all aligns. And the point that I'm trying to make, ladies, is that every other person that you bring in your life is going to build off the way that you treat yourself, the way you carry yourself, and it's built off your personal foundation. We cannot keep complaining about people we allow in our lives when our foundations have not been built, because some of us just don't know like how important it is yet. And then if we allow people to come in our lives and completely wreck our foundation, stop second guessing yourself. If you know that you value these things and you bring this to the table, it should be met. That's the least you can get. That's the least you can ask for. So foundations are so important. I wanted to touch on this, not really get too deep into it, but really have like a surface level conversation of, hey, ladies, in any relationship, as we talk about this series, as we get deep into it, I want for us to start with self, because that's the only way that we're going to benefit off of other relationships. There have been times, I'm sure, where you cut somebody off and it felt better. You felt lighter because they were effing up the foundation the whole time and they didn't add any value. They were just taken from you or just there. There's no need to live that way anymore. We're in a whole new year where we're building off of mistakes, where we're learning, we're reflecting. And I want for us to realize that whoever is a part of our life right now, they should only be additions to the foundation or contribute to that. If not, we got to break them off, and it really shouldn't affect us, because at the end of the day, we still going to be who we are. We still going to be solid. We still going to stand on business because the foundation has been set. My question to you today, though, is simple. What is your foundation going to be built on? Is it going to be built off of love? Is it going to be built off of understanding? Is it going to be built off of peace? Is it going to be built off of superficial things like looks and clout and social media followers, you decide. Even biblically, it talks about how, and I forgot the exact scripture, but I've been reading my Bible heavy. Obviously, fasting, reading the Bible, etc., goes hand in hand. That there was a scripture talking about how one man built his house on rock. The winds blew, storms came. That house didn't fall. It was built on a rock. But another house was built, and it was built on sand. So that the wind blew, storms came, and that house fell, and it was a great fall because of the foundation. So thank you so much for tuning in, ladies. I love talking about topics like this because I know it's going to impact us in powerful ways. And I've got to actually head to church right now. We got a 12 o'clock service. Got to go ahead and head there. Make sure that you follow me on social media as well. I'm on Instagram and TikTok and YouTube. It's Edified Minds, but Instagram, it is edifiedminds.podcast. Share, talk about this amongst your group. And I will see you guys next week. Bye-bye.